by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. If we hear properly, the holy name will enter through our ears into the region of our heart and shower down nectar. When we are lost in the ocean of nectar, we will see Krishna. So, Hare Krishna, may I know who is there in the call today?
I'm Surinder Bhandari from Maryland.
Hare Krishna, Sundar Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna.
Please go ahead.
No, I'm just saying Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances on the Vishnu Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Kunjara Sadas from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna, Nikunjarat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna, anybody else would like to announce anything?
My Dandavat Pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Rupini Padma Devidasi from Orlando, Florida.
Hare Krishna, Rupini Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining. So I can see Prema Padmini Mataji. So Hare Krishna, Prema Padmini Mataji, and Rita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and welcome to the call. So Mataji, are you ready? Mataji is on mute. So today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Prema Padmini Mataji from Bangalore, India, and Mataji will enlighten us in Srimad Bhagvatam 7.5.15. So
Thank you.
please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Om Ajnanatamrindasya Dhyanjanashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminati Namni Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Prabhupradayani Gorakata Damdaya Nagar Gramtarni Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namni Namaste Saraswati Gaurvani Pracharne Nirvisesh Sonivadi Paschat Deshtarni Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 7 Chapter 5 Text 15. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnaveभ्यो Namo Namaha. Shri Narada Uvacha Etavad Brahmana Yoktva Virarama Mahamatihi Tam Sannibhritsya Kupita Sudhino Rajasevaka. The great saint Narada Muni continues. The great soul Prahlada Maharaj became silent after saying this to his teachers Shanda and Amarka, the seminal sons of Shukracharya. These so-called Brahmanas then became angry at him. Because they were servants of Hiranyakashipu, they were very sorry, and to chastise Prahlad Maharaj, they spoke as follows. The word Shukra means seven. The sons of Shukracharya were Brahmanas by birthright, but an actual Brahmana is one who possesses the Brahminical qualities. The Brahmanas, Shanda and Amarka, being seminal sons of Shukracharya, did not actually possess real Brahminical qualifications, for they engaged as servants of Hiranyakashipu. An actual Brahmana is very much satisfied to see anyone, not to speak of his disciple, become a devotee of Lord Krishna. Such Brahmanas are meant to satisfy the Supreme Master. A Brahmana is strictly prohibited from becoming a servant of anyone else. But that is the business of dogs and Shudras. A dog must satisfy his master, but a Brahmana does not have to satisfy anyone. He is simply meant to satisfy Krishna. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam. That is the real qualification of a Brahmana. Because Shanda and Amarka were seminal Brahmanas and had become servants of such a master as Hiranyakashipu, they unnecessarily wanted to chastise Prahlad Maharaj. We'll just have one more verse also. Text 16. Aniyatam are vetram asmakam ayashastraha taraha kulangharasya durbuddhe chaturto shyodito dhamma. Oh, please bring me a stick. This Prahlad is damaging our name and fame. Because of his bad intelligence, he has become like a cinder in the dynasty of the demons. Now he needs to be treated by the fourth of the four kinds of political diplomacy. In political affairs, when a person disobediently agitates against the government, four principles are used to suppress him: legal orders, pacification, the offer of a post, or finally weapons. When there are no other arguments, he is punished. In logic, this is called argumentum ad baculum. When the two seminal Brahmanas, Shanda and Amarka, failed to extract from Prahlad Maharaj the cause for his having opinions different from those of his father, they called for a stick with which to chastise him to satisfy their master Hiranyakashipu. Because Prahlad had become a devotee, they considered him to be contaminated by bad intelligence and to be the worst descendant in the family of demons. As it is said, where ignorance is bliss, it is folly to be wise. In a society or family in which everyone is a demon, for someone to become a Vaishnava is certainly folly. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj was charged with bad intelligence because he was among demons, including his teachers who were supposedly Brahmanas. The members of our Krishna consciousness movement are in a position similar to that of Prahlad Maharaj. All over the world, 99% of the people are godless demons. And therefore, our preaching of Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, is always hampered by many impediments. Because of their fault of being devotees, the American boys who have sacrificed everything for preaching Krishna consciousness are charged with being members of the CIA. Moreover, the seminal Brahmanas in India who say that one can become a Brahmana only if born in a Brahmana family charge us with ruining the Hindu system of religion. Of course, the fact is that one becomes a Brahmana by qualification. Because we are training Europeans and Americans to become qualified and are awarding them Brahminical status, we are being charged with destroying the Hindu religion. Nonetheless, confronting all kinds of difficulties, we must spread the Krishna consciousness movement with great determination like that of Prahlad Maharaj. In spite of being the son of the demon Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad never feared the chastisements of seminal Brahmana sons offered demoniac father. Okay. So this Prahlad Maharaj, when he glorified, the the rationale behind is becoming a devotee and the glories of rendering devotional services. So, and he openly showed his, deep loyalty and faith in the Supreme Personality of God, and that is what incensed Shanda and Amarika. So they are called the seminal sons of Shukra Acharya. Shukracharya himself, it means that he is based on birth, his Brahminical status is by birth, not by qualification, especially, yes, because it started with Shukracharya because of becoming the guru of the demons. He actually he is very well learned in the Shastras. And after studying the Shastras, which is all to establish the Supreme Personality of God, its supreme position, Krishna personally says in the Bhagavad Gita that Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedya. The object of learning the Shastras is to know me and to decry that Supreme Lord. How much of a rascal and a scoundrel one has to be. So Shukracharya was openly, he was teaching the demons how to go against Vishnu, and even taught Bali Maharaj, he told them, don't listen to Vishnu. So he was a demon. And in Kali Yuga, it's mentioned that most of the Brahmanas, in the previous yugas, will be born in demoniac families and they will be atheistic. So, what are the qualifications of a Brahmana? The Brahmana is one who possesses the Brahmanical qualities. So, in the Bhagavad Gita 18.42, it says, Samo Dhamas Tapah Shaucham Kshantir Arjavam Evacha Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. So, in Prabhupada said that he had started this movement to make people from Shudras, Mlechas into Brahmanas. And of course, Vaishnavas. Vaishnava is already a Brahmana. And so that is why it's starting with Vaishnavism, becoming a devotee, then automatically we get purified. And then we should acquire the Brahmanical qualities. And because this is such a powerful method, Vaishnavism, that is the way, through devotional service, it's easy to become, change your even natural qualities with which you're born, even if you're a Shudra or a Mlecha or whatever. To change such people to Brahmanism or to call them a Brahmana, how to change the quality? Because Prabhupada says that 99% are demons. And demons means, and also all just working for money and under material bosses. And the only goal of life is to make money and enjoy with your senses. So how do you make such people Brahmanas? It is only through Vaishnavism, by worshipping the Lord. Anybody can worship the Lord. And by following all the regulative principles, chanting the holy name. By that, see how powerful method it is, that you can change the mode of material nature in which you're born. And this is the amazing thing that the Brahmanas by birth are not willing to acknowledge. First of all, they may not even have the quality of a Brahmana, but still they take pride that I am a Brahmana. And normally they see that people cannot suddenly change and become all Brahmanas. It's not possible. It takes a very long time to, normally by birth, that is why the Varnashrama system for the entire life, one remains in whatever Varna, that is not by birth. Whatever quality one acquires, one continues doing that for the whole life and then moves towards, everything is for the worship of the Lord, and then they keep getting purified, and hopefully in the next birth, if you don't surrender, then the only thing is you're born again into one of the Varnas. And if you've done it properly, then go to a higher Varna like this. So, but here, by just chanting Hare Krishna mantra, we get the first, the gross qualities of a Brahmana. That means he is free from vices, right? No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. So these are the first fundamental principles. No sin. A Brahmana should not commit any sin. So that much, power is there in the Hare Krishna mantra, that those people who thought that there was nothing wrong, they thought this is a birthright to enjoy like this, and they are giving it up with disdain and adopting the spiritual practices and abstinence from all sinful activities. That itself is a big miracle. And after that, so we'll see peacefulness. A devotee, this is only by performing these four things, I mean, four regulative principles and chanting and then taking initiation, then gradually what happens, one must become peaceful. Because then only, and then you are eligible to take second initiation and become a Brahmana. So one of the first quality is that one has to become peaceful. So how can we become peaceful? When we understand that a goal in life is something higher than simply just eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And a devotee has to have, that realization, and he has to understand, first of all, it's not the body. That's fundamental. In India, everybody knows, I mean, used to know, at least nowadays not, but people know that the Vedic culture is that, because the culture itself is geared towards self-realization. So everybody understands that I'm not this body. And so the temporary pleasures of this world is looked down upon. In fact, the more that one can overcome that and be established in spiritual realization, they are revered. And that's why Brahmanas were considered very great and worshipped by people. And they were the leaders of society and so on, because they lived like that. They were realized in Brahman. So first thing is because they understood the value of life, that it is not simply for sense gratification. And Brahmanas are considered very, very important because they set the standard for the society. And if they, by their example, show that impermanence of this material world, and they are teaching, propagating this religion, and acting like teachers, and ones who are the priests, and giving advice, counsel to all the people, then society, not only are they peaceful, society also becomes peaceful because they're following Brahminical culture. And that is how India was, even up to the time of the British. People were satisfied with whatever, people were not disturbed. They was relatively, compared to now, of course, they were very peaceful, you can say, but compared to earlier ages, okay, they had some taints like in Kali Yuga. And so the Gurukul system was still prevalent. And the British, they are the ones who they wanted to loot. I mean, they looted so much raw materials from India, and they shipped it to UK, and they made factory manufactured goods, and they wanted to dump it back in India and make people buy. And because the Indians were not interested in all that, they didn't want all polyester clothing and all fancy stuffs, and they were very satisfied with their simple lives. And so then they were puzzled. Here is a large population, and we thought we'll make a lot of money, and nobody is buying our stuff. And so they made a research. What is the root cause of this indifference to, sense gratification, having a different value? Because here they're trying to, prop themselves as, superior in race and in culture and so on, and were trying to manipulate. They were telling all lies, and only through cheating and manipulation and total brutality they were ruling India. And so they could, but one thing, they went to the root cause. What is stopping them from, becoming greedy after material things, sense gratification? And they found it is because of these Brahmanas and these Gurukulas, where they're teaching that Brahman realization is the value of life. So automatically they had no interest in all these things. Then they decided, okay, we will stop all these Gurukulas. We will just stop it by force, and we'll give very good jobs for the Brahmanas, not very good. Put them in as clerks. We'll give them English education and whatever our curriculum, and then we'll employ them as clerks because they'll get money. Because Gurukula stopped, no money for them, so we'll make them clerks. And once they become part of our culture, then rest of society will follow. So they saw that is Brahmanas were the cause. They are setting the trend. So that is how they destroyed Brahminical culture, whatever little vestiges of our original culture was left, that also completely destroyed. And so everybody started running after money, just like this. Shukracharya, Shanda, Amarka sell anything for the sake of money. Your religion, your values, your character, nothing matters. Only money. So a Brahmana is one who becomes peaceful because he understands the ultimate purpose of life and he is satisfied. And he knows that the maintainer is the Supreme Person. Brahma Janate iti Brahmana, one who understands what is Brahman, the spiritual aspect of life. And so he becomes very peaceful because he is not disturbed by all these materialistic knowledge, which thinks that, we have to do this, we are the controllers, we're the owners, and we, in the sense, so we have to grab as much as possible and enjoy our senses. So all these are the cause of stress. Why are people so stressed out today? Because unnecessarily they are trying to earn even whatever normally they can earn. They're not happy. They want to earn more and more and more and more. And that they think, they like demons, like Hiranyakashipu, they set the principles that you are progressive only if you keep on running after money and keep on increasing your wealth, then only you're progressive. If you're satisfied, that is the death of the society. So this is their norms. And so why this? First of all, because of industrialization, all these big multinational companies came into being, and they wanted to control the whole world. And not only that, they have such competition, they want to be the topmost, and so they got all the people to work for them like donkeys, night and day, so that they can enjoy. And how, look at their greed. How much profit do they want? Why do they want to go and dominate over the whole world? How are they going to use that money? Just to control, like demons. They are not satisfied. Demons can never be satisfied. Like Hiranyakashipu himself. He owned the whole universe and still he was not satisfied. A small thing could upset him. Just his own son Prahlad, because he said Vishnu is the he was worshipping him, he couldn't stand it. But the whole world was under him, then why was he not satisfied? So that is the nature of demons. And because people are not satisfied with whatever they get, and then they become slaves of material enjoyment, and they are not peaceful at all. And they can't stand it if somebody has more. And then they think, I must be the best. I must be the wealthiest. And so this is demoniac mentality. So that is why they don't have any peace. And peace comes when society is based on truth, on reality, which is that the Supreme Lord is the actual maintainer, and the purpose of life is to maintain our body and go back home, understand Him, and to depend on Him. Such a fundamental truth is completely hidden from society, which Krishna keeps on reiterating in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagvatam. Constantly, the sages are all saying, what is the purpose of life? Because they were all very concerned, the sages in Naimisharanya, that after Krishna has left, they knew Kali Yuga is going to be terrible, where people only think about monetary, success and sense gratification, and they are not going to be interested in Krishna at all. So what will happen to them? They were very, very concerned. And so at that time, Suta Goswami reassured them that the Bhagavatam has come. The Vyasadeva has written almost at the end of Kali, Dwapara Yuga, beginning of Kali. He has written it, and that propagates The real value, essence of all Vedas and Puranas are given in the Srimad Bhagvatam. That what is the absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the three features of Brahman, the absolute truth, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, and how Bhagavan is the ultimate reality. And what are all his activities? What are all the leelas? And how by surrendering to him, everybody can be very peaceful and happy and go back home, back to God through all these histories of life. I mean, from time immemorial, all those kathas of kings, pious kings, and their relationship with the Supreme Lord and how people all flourished. So once we know that the Supreme Lord is the actual controller, and our purpose is to take shelter of him, everybody will become very peaceful. And as long as in education, just like Shanda and Amarkar were teaching, the same curriculum we have in our modern day education, where everything else other than God is taught. So that's why there is no peacefulness. And then self-control. Self-control is because we cannot have self-control unless we have spiritual knowledge and activities. Otherwise, how can you have self-control? Because the nature of the senses is to keep on becoming deteriorate. And the more you satisfy it, lust burns like fire, and you put more ghee into it to satisfy it, more it burns fire, and it demands more and more and more. So there is no self-control among the people. Everything they want to have unlimitedly. If you have any invention, you see how people become addicted to everything. Like first the television came, people were addicted to televisions, and then now mobile, and then computer, and now mobile. How much addicted people get, because they want unlimited, no self-control at all in all aspects of our lives, sense gratification. So because of that, when you gratify your senses, then in all aspects of your life, in your relationships also, you have no self-control. Your mind just flares up at the at the smallest this thing, inconvenience, or you just don't like what somebody is speaking, then you immediately want to flare up, and it goes physical also. First it starts verbally, then the mind becomes so agitated, then finally just physically you can kill. I mean, just yesterday there's news item that one boy, he's a college boy and student, and and there was some function in his college. So he had gone for that, and it was at 3 p.m. And then in between he wanted to go out, and the security guard stopped him. He said that if you go, I'll not let you in again, so don't go. So he got so bad. I mean, that's what he rationalizes now. He says that in front of everyone, he dishonored me or disrespected me by telling, stopping me. So he went out, got a knife, and he came and stabbed him. Can you imagine? For such petty things, people cannot take no for an answer. And this is not just some weird experience. This is happening every day. If you see the news column, someone or the other is just murdering their own family members also out of anger or some other this thing. Yeah. Every day, this is becoming commonplace, and people are not even waking up and saying, alarmed. Why is this happening? Why are people not having any self-control? So that is naturally because we are heading in the wrong direction. Austerity, Brahminical quality of austerity is when we, limit our materialistic needs, and we are more geared towards spiritual realization. Austerity, just for its austerity itself, is just makes you very dry, and like Mayavadis, they do a lot of austerity, their heart becomes hard and dry. We don't. Austerity is for spiritual, whatever is required. Like, for example, getting up early, having a bath, and then doing all the whatever worship and worshipping the Lord and keeping fasts on days which are recommended. So that kind of austerity, not unnecessary austerity, but for the sake of spiritual life, that we avoid non-sattvic foods, that sort of austerity, not on our own concocted austerity. Too much austerity is also bad, whatever is prescribed. And purity. So purity in all aspects of our life, physical, our lifestyle, and that also leads to mental purity, where we are only focused on how to advance in our advance spiritually and having all good qualities. Purity only comes with Krishna consciousness, because the supreme pure is the Lord. And unless we do everything in a service mode, it's very difficult to be pure, because everybody is aspiring for something for themselves. If not gross, then subtly they want to dominate, or they want power or position or money or something. And that automatically makes us impure. The minute we have material desires, we become impure, because we have some other focus rather than doing everything for Krishna. So that is why Krishna, yajna by Vishnu. To achieve Vishnu, you have to do everything as yajna, a sacrifice for the Lord. And so a Brahmana, because he's always doing yajnas and studying Shastra, everything for the sake of pleasing Vishnu. So automatically he becomes purified. And tolerance. Tolerance against is a nature of I mean, we can be tolerant. Krishna also says, tam stitikshasva bharata. Matra sparshas tu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Agama paino anityas. Tam stitikshasva bharata. So everything is very temporary, so you tolerate it. And how can we tolerate? Only when we have something within us that gives us the power to hold on to, something else we hold on to, by which we can tolerate superficial ups and downs and sorrow and happiness and all these things. And so again, that is why unless we have spiritually, we are grounded, we cannot be tolerant. And we see a lot of intolerance in today's world. Drop of a hat, some small provocation is required, then they get into a war, and then nobody wants to come to any kind of understanding or anything. So that is on the macro level. And micro level also, we are so intolerant about any differences, and we just don't want to be amicable. And and that is again because of too much sense gratification. Then you can't tolerate the smallest things, like right from the weather, climatic, this thing. Sometimes it's very hot, and Krishna says summer and winter seasons will come and go. In India, we are used to that, right? Odd summers also, we do continue doing all the work. And winter in the north and all many places have intense cold also. Then one has to tolerate it and continue with our duties. But then again, the West set the standards. When the British used to rule over India, then during summer months, all the wives and the children will go to the hill stations. They can't stay in the plains. It's very hot for them. So in this way, we started indulging. We thought that, yeah, we have to indulge ourselves a bit. But otherwise, because people were, people, when you are thinking about higher reality, then the physical, all these, what Krishna himself is saying, tolerate it. It will be like that material world, you will have this. But imagine the whole system of education is geared towards how to minimize the, the physical discomforts. That is the only purpose of education, not for understanding higher realities. How to make your material situation better and better and better, so that more comfort for your body and your mind. So naturally, there is no tolerance at all. Then honesty. A Brahmana should be so truthful that even to his enemy, he should speak the truth, right? And he must admit the truth as it is. Normally, most people, they feel uncomfortable with some truth. Then they will somehow try to, cushion it and try to rationalize why they cannot accept it. And they will justify themselves for settling for something less than truth. This is how most people, they're not honest. And that's why in the Bhagavatam it is said that Bhagavatam can be appreciated by someone who is thoroughly honest. What is why do you have to be honest? Because to understand Bhagavatam, it is speaking about the impermanence of life. It all the sham, all the hypocrisy, untruths, the illusions, the myths in material life. And it's talking about how the spiritual reality is the truth. Now, most people are disturbed to read such things. They are okay as long as you say the other Puranas or the Karma Kanda section, which says that, okay, you have a problem, you worship the Lord, and then you'll get material success and happiness, and you can live happily ever after in this material world. If you say that no, even going to the heavenly planets is all waste, useless, it's just temporary, and only doing bhakti is the topmost, they can't take it because they want this illusion very much. So they're dishonest. And like Shukracharya, he was dishonest. Even after having Shastric knowledge, he was totally dishonest. And instead of, he could have used his offices. I mean, even if he became the priest of the demons, he could have slowly tried to elevate them. But of course, they would not have demons being demons. They will not tolerate. And so, just for the sake of money and this thing, prestige of being a, high priest and competition with Brihaspati, he just completely compensated with honesty. And in today's world, how many people just compensate with honesty? They are okay. They just, whatever is the done thing, I'm not going to stand out and unnecessarily become unpopular by, this sticking to truth. If everybody is accepting some untruth, I will also do that. And normally, people who are dishonest, they try to, get all the people. They try to sort of, present the case to as many people and try to make their dishonesty the truth by vox populi. If it's large number, if I have strength, a lot of people are believing my untruth, then I'm very strong. This is how in today's world they try to hoodwink the people like that. See, so many people are believing in this nonsense, so it is truth. And in Kali Yuga, those who really are living by the truth or speaking the truth are outnumbered. And just like in this case, you can see how Prahlad Maharaj he was honest. He completely honest. He was not against his father, but this is the truth. And he could see his father, how he was being demoniac and what he's doing. And he spoke the truth fearlessly. That was his problem. I mean, that created all problems for him. And that's exactly what's happening in today's demoniac world. If you speak the truth, yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'll wear devotee clothes, I'll wear tilaka, I'll glorify him. Then finished, you'll be treated like a, what do you call, unprogressive person, a bigot, a narrow-minded person. I mean, what did I do? I'm not speaking against other people. I have my right to follow everything. I mean, in just kind of even in countries where they claim that they have total freedom of all that, they also they smug. I mean, they try to deride and so in this way, and then try to sort of discriminate and so on. Prabhupada mentions how much the devotees have to suffer because of this honesty, and honesty in all aspects of our life. But how can a Brahmana, only a Brahmanas are honest. Brahmanas should have, the first quality of a Brahmana is that he always speaks the truth. Brahmana should never tell lies. And why is that? Because a Brahmana is realized in Brahman or the Supreme Brahman, Vaishnava, Brahmana, Vaishnava is realized in Supreme Truth, that is the Supreme Lord, then he is dependent on Krishna, and so he becomes fearless. I will not speak untruth, because Krishna is there. You cannot sit with Krishna and then speak untruth. Then immediately you'll lose his company. So that is why Brahmana should be thoroughly honest. He has knowledge, and what knowledge? Spiritual, scriptural knowledge, both material. A Brahmana is, because of having scriptural knowledge, he also becomes expert, or if not expert, he has some knowledge of everything, and overall knowledge, like see how Prabhupada, yes, overall knowledge of everything that comes, because everything is within Krishna only. So if one becomes advanced in spiritual knowledge, he also understands material knowledge easily, and that is why um, you know, why Indians are doing. I mean, education is considered, even material education is valued a lot because of the habit of having this, valuing spiritual education. First of all, learned, whoever was educated, learned, were considered in great high esteem. And so that also makes, and you see that Brahmanas are also good in material knowledge, and they excel in studies and all that. So, and that is why they have reservation and all that. They said, oh, these lower castes were not given any opportunity for knowledge. So now we reserve for them, and even if they get less marks, it's okay. But that is actually material education. I mean, that is completely mundane education, and they are doing very well. All this so-called OBCs and all is a myth. All this scheduled caste, they're all doing very well in this material education, because mainly because even though the whole society was based on Vedic knowledge, so even though the lower castes were not as intelligent as the Brahmanas, they were also following Vedic knowledge. So Brahmanas should have Shastric knowledge, and then a general knowledge about everything, and wisdom, what is right and wrong, what is, the, the proper attitude, a proper course of action to be taken, everything. That is wisdom. And religiousness. Yeah, religiousness because of their faith in God, and basically everything. The Shastras are all, you cannot become a Nastic by studying the Shastras, though there were materialistic people also who founded their own philosophies, like Charvaka and all that, who said that, you should beg, borrow, steal, but enjoy material life. So there are such, like Shukracharya, for example, they are all the rebels, or the people who are the exceptions. But generally, Brahmanas, when they are qualified in the Vedic knowledge, then they become religious. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. So imagine, these are the qualities, and Chanda and Avarka, they were behaving like modern day Brahmanas. They only bothered about their job and their money and their prestige, and so they were ready to completely compromise and teach only mundane knowledge to all the asuras. And a real Brahmana, an actual Brahmana, is very much satisfied to see anyone, not to speak of his disciple, become a devotee of Lord Krishna. Such Brahmanas are meant to satisfy the Supreme Master. A Brahmana is strictly prohibited from becoming a servant of anyone else. But that is the business of dogs and Shudras. A dog is the excellent example of how you must be a servant, right? Dog is amazing. Krishna has given that particular quality to the dog. And in terms of certain things, you can see how loyal it is to the master, and very grateful for a little food and whatever shelter. It risks its whole life. For the entire lifetime, it serves the master. So dogs, but then they are only interested in material. Dogs are just satisfied with some little shelter, food, and Shudras also like that, just for a little bit of material, sense gratification, protection, money. They only want sense gratification, and they are meant to serve the higher caste because they don't have any spiritual knowledge, and they only want sense gratification. So at least the Shudras should be humble and serve their masters, and the masters are supposed to completely take care of their maintenance. So only these people have to listen to somebody, a human master. But a Brahmana is supposed to satisfy only Krishna. Brahmana is strictly prohibited from becoming a servant of anyone else. That's why they are independent. A Brahmana has only his own, whatever, not his own, because he's surrendered to Krishna and he's following Sadhu Shastra Guru. Then he does whatever Krishna wants him to do. Strictly prohibited, not becoming a servant of anyone else, for that is the business of dogs and Shudras, because he is not attached to anything material, so he is not bothered to satisfy any material person. Brahmana does not have to satisfy anyone. He is simply meant to satisfy Krishna. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam. That is the real qualification of a Brahmana. Because Shanda and Amarka were seminal Brahmanas and had become servants of such a master as Hiranyakashipu, they unnecessarily wanted to chastise Prahlad Maharaj. So this is the greatness of a Brahmana, that he will not compromise. You see how Prabhupada, he exhibited the great qualities of a Brahmana in the height of, when in America, at that time, they had sent people to the moon. And then it was the time of women's liberation movement. And right there he went, and when he was questioned about all these, he spoke his mind, even though it was totally opposite. And so many people also questioned him, attacked him, and said, how can you say like this? But Prabhupada, he said, I will not compromise, I'll speak the truth. So that is a Brahmana, because you simply satisfy Krishna. Whatever Krishna wanted him to say, he spoke fearlessly. He was not afraid of anything. And he didn't even have any support, no money. Where is money going to come? What will people say? How will I get my following? I'm supposed to create one big movement around the world. And if I speak all this and people don't support me, and they suppose they try to stop my movement, what will happen? None of those considerations. He just was a servant of Krishna. Whatever Krishna does, let him do. That is his movement, that's his problem. I'll speak the absolute truth. So that is a Brahmana. Then, oh, please bring me a stick. This Prahlad is damaging our name and fame. And so Prabhupada says that, so the four things of trying to, they're saying that now he needs to be treated by the fourth of the four kinds of political diplomacy. And that, as we know, is Sam, Dham, Ved, Dhanda. So first, Sama, you try to pacify them by four things. For a Shudra, you just give him Shudra by some position. No, for not position is for Kshatriyas. For Vaishyas, you give money to bribe them. For Shudras, I think you, what is the thing? And Brahmana, Bhojana, the night food, that is enough. So you try to win them over, Sama, pacify them. Dham, Sam, Bedha, to divide and rule and suppress him. Dham is suppressing him with legal orders, etc. So to suppress them, and Bedha, and finally Dhanda, with weapons. When there are no other arguments, is punished. In logic, this is called argumentum ad baculum. So they tried their best to, make Prahlad into a proper demon. But then they saw that Prahlad Maharaj is such a small boy and still he's having his own opinions, different from those of his father. And so they wanted to take a stick to chastise him to satisfy their master. And they thought that Prahlad Maharaj was contaminated in the descendant of demons. So that is what, even a Vaishnava, he sticks out like a sore thumb in a family of demons. And then the devotee is made to feel horrible, ashamed of himself, as if he is, a freak and a disgrace to the family. So that is how in Kali Yuga also Prabhupada says, all over the world, 99% of the people are godless demons. So we are also preaching, of course, following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj is always hampered by many impediments. It seems ridiculous that why should governments and so on stop people from worshipping Lord Vishnu? What is it to them? Why can't people worship whoever they are worshipping God, and it's based on scriptures and all that, some traditions. What is it to you? Why do they become so disturbed and then they stop it? So that is demoniac nature, or automatically demons. They just hate devotees for no reason at all. There might not be any logical reason why they hate him. They just hate. They don't like that, this trait of worshipping. Because of their fault of being devotees, the American boys who have sacrificed everything for preaching Krishna consciousness are charged with being members of the CIA. So in India, they were considered like that those days. And then also by saying that they cannot become Brahmanas and all that, they're saying these are spoiling all our Shastra. And then we are being charged with destroying the Hindu religion. But Prabhupada is determined. Nonetheless, confronting all kinds of difficulties, we must spread the Krishna consciousness movement with great determination, like that of Prahlad Maharaj. Just imagine Prabhupada alone. He faced all these challenges all over the world. And he established it. He himself said in all humility, none of you could have done it. The kind of right from the very beginning, when he was all alone and struggling in the wilderness to establish Krishna consciousness up to his very end, all the challenges that he undertook. Only someone like him, such a pure devotee who was fully surrendered to Krishna, who depended completely on Krishna, and he was so determined, no matter what, he was not afraid of death or anything. He wanted to establish this for Krishna. And so he was fearless, like Prahlad. In spite of being the son of the demon Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad never feared the chastisements of the seminal Brahmana sons of a demoniac father. So that is the kind, a pure devotee is really fantastic, a rare entity in this material world, because he genuinely believes in Krishna and absolutely, and nothing can corrupt him or take him 1 inch also away from his full dependence on the Lord. And he has no his own agenda. His only agenda is to please the Lord. And so that is why nobody can check him. So many asuras. Prahlad Maharaj, he was living in a family of demons. His own father was this demoniac king, and still it did not help budge him from 1 bit, not even a small millimeter from his truth. And similarly, Prabhupada also established that he was not afraid. At least now, ISKCON is established all over the world, so it's a little easier for us. Even though, of course, there will always be opposition among family, friends, society, and so on. It's a question of belief system. But he says we should not be affected, because if we have faith in Krishna, that is the whole process. Prahlad was not at all afraid of anything. Even though he was tortured, he was always peaceful and he believed in Krishna, and in all circumstances, Krishna protected him. And finally, he himself appeared and established the truth about Prahlad's words. So we have to understand that finally Krishna will be there. He's there with us all the time, helping us to overcome the problems. And if we stay with him, then definitely we'll be victorious, because he will come and establish the truth. He will definitely make our words credible and make sure that we are victorious in this battle. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Such a wonderful class, Mataji, and you explained so nicely about the Brahmanical qualities and how should we progress in our spiritual life and become a Brahmana and then develop qualities. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Always
Dandavat
Mr.
Pranam.
Prabhupada. It was such a nice class, very important for us to realize the Brahminical qualities that are required, because we are sadhakas, we are Vaidikaktas, we are practitioners, we are very rarely do we get opportunity to be blessed by a pure devotee. So the situation of the Mrigari or the Prahlad Maharaj, who are blessed by Narada Muni, such things do not appear to us. So we have to come to Krishna consciousness, to be transcendent of the three modes. We have to go past the Satagun, the mode of goodness. So whatever is mode of material mode of nature we are in, Tamaguna, Rajagun, we have to go past the Satagun. So the qualities of a person in placed in Sataguna has to be always there in our mind, and it is in the middle of in our society. Very rarely are these gunas described. I understand that everybody wants to hear Krishna Katha, and everybody wants to hear how they can improve their chanting, but at the same time, these qualities are very important to be reminded, and you did that very nicely. Thank you, Mataji, for your nectarian words and beautifying aspiration. It's so much important. Samadhama taposaucham shantimarjavam evacha jnana vijnana vastiktam brahma karma svavajam. So all these qualities bring one to the purify oneself of the impurities. And then only when the impurities go, then only the Krishna Bhakti can come. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Samasta Mad Bhaktim Lavate Param. So unless some of these in Brahma Bhuta that the Brahmanas are in, they're always truthful, fearless. Then the Krishna Bhakti won't come. It will be wavering. They will be always, the Rajasiks do. They're always wavered by money. Whenever there's money, they veer from the truth. So that is a problem, very important. And you were saying that the quality of the demons, it's so important. I mean, it is correct that they are inimical to the devotees. And I tried to find an answer directly. I couldn't find, but somehow I understood that the demons want to be praised themselves. The Ishwaraham Aham Bhogi Siddhohan Bulbul Balavan Sati. The demons are characterized by that, right? I am God. I am to be praised. I am controller of everything. So Brahmanas or the devotees, they do not praise. I mean, they may associate with them, try to give association, but they do not take association. They do not give them so much importance as the Rajasiks, the Tamasiks would do. So and yet they are worshipped by the society because of the knowledge. So when the person who is in knowledge does not offer respect to that demon, suppose yeah, and then the demon gets angry. That is the problem. I understood it a little later. So that is the why they are inimical to the devotee. So supposing if a society person, like it is called uh, uh, is very for him it is very important to have influence in his society, but at the same time the people the Brahminic people in Brahminic qualifications, because of the knowledge, they attract the worship or the respect of a lot of people, and at the same time they these Brahmanas, they do not they may associate with them, but they associate with those demons, but to give the knowledge, but they do not take realization. So that's the problem, that they become inimical. In the situation with Hiranyakashipu here. Yeah, that's the thing. And yes, I mean, demons are everywhere today. Nowadays in society, even the government is demonic. There are laws, demonic laws like this, especially this current dispensation in America is completely demonic. I mean, this, what is it? Abortion laws. And then this yeah, I mean,
Killing of animals, killing of cows. So
yeah, of course, that is that is by the culture, but that is culture where especially this particular political dispensation is completely demonic, atheistic, and you cannot talk of God in society. That's why they have replaced my God with my goodness. Demonic. So I mean, so it's so important to reflect upon. I mean, yeah, I was also thinking yesterday that the Brahminic qualities is of as I said, rather the such qualities of Sataguna is pravrittim cha nivrittam cha karya karya bhaya vahe bandham moksham cha yavetti buddhi savartha satviki. The buddhi in the mode of goodness, the intelligence in the mode of goodness is he'll be able to identify what is right and wrong. Pravriti, what is pravriti, what is nivriti, what I should do, what my senses are telling me to do, what I should do on my senses, so that the senses do not do that. So, so this is very important, that concept, what is pap, what is punya, what is piety, what is sin. So completely, because after this, even in India also, after this liberalization, so-called, what is it? Liberalization, globalization, yes. And yeah. So after that, our society used to be so piety driven, and that the concept of bhoga, that the sense gratification used to be so less. My multiple there were small things which used to be so much happy, but after this thing and this liberalization and all that, the bhoga, that sense gratification became the part of the society. Everywhere there's mall. Instead of going
yes,
to temple, people go to mall.
yes, very much. You know, before even like I'm staying in Bangalore here, on weekends at least we used to see temples and all. Many people going to temples. It used to be crowded, and now in the temples even you don't see any crowd. Only on some festival days. And where is the crowd going? On weekends also traffic is more. Somewhere or the other they are rushing to enjoyment.
Yes, all bhoga. And bhoga means they are thinking that if they don't kill a brahmana, there is no pap. But in the bhoga also, any bhoga, by default there is small sins accruing, and there is no concept of this austerity, charity, and the sacrifice. All have gone away. I was reading the Rudra Sampradaya, the Kali Yuga leader, Vallabhacharya, the Krishna Sastram, he said that in the Kali Yuga, because of the Nana Bada, there's so many, that Prayana Alpayusa, Manda Sumanda Mata Manda Bhagya Upadruta. So Manda Sumanda Mata, so many moths are there, there's so many philosophies every day cropping up. Some guru is cropping up. Without Shastra, he will speak this is his own mind. And there is no concept of austerity, sacrifice, and Jagridana Tapasya Pavanani Manishnam Krishna says. So the Yagya, Dan, and Tapa, these are all gone. In the modern these things and these concepts of these gurus, they do not stress on the Yagya Tapa. There is no Tapa.
Yes.
Very, very, this is that without the Tapa, whatever their small, these things they are accruing, how they will go away? It's not going away. That's why society is accumulating more and more of things, the demands.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mataji. It's very, very important to reflect upon this current situation with respect to the topic you chose to speak on. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
I think,
Krishna Mataji, this is Geeta. Thank you so much for your wonderful class. And I just wanted to add, we had some friends here, my husband's very close Gujarati friends, and they in America, to bring the culture and religion, especially for children. So every maybe during the week also, but on the weekends also, they used to go. There is a special group that they follow. Swadhyay movement or something like that. So, all weekends children used to have separate classes and adults separate classes on basically Krishna consciousness. So he said one beautiful thing to us. He said, if we don't go there, children will go somewhere else. It's good to channelize their energy at the younger age to go to these places. And it was so wonderful when we visited them in Florida that we saw that they were more Indian than Indians in India. So, I mean, it is a very big effort. People think that, why don't they socialize? It's a lot of effort not to socialize and go to temples and, follow our culture or our religion, whatever. It's a lot of effort, but people think, oh, they have nowhere else to go, so they go there. That
But
kind of a
temples
thing.
also you can socialize, no? After doing your prayer and all that, then you
Right.
meet people. That is also, temples were meant for
Yeah,
socializing.
absolutely. And like-minded people who think on similar, it's easier to socialize there actually. They have similar goals, and I think that's beautiful. We made a group here, and that's they're all in. It's much easier to socialize with them. Even usually after doing whatever we do together. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you for sharing. Wonderful.
Ji, Madam, pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for the class and nice question answers. And I was thinking that when we heard many times about, a Brahmana's son is not necessarily going to be a Brahmana. But in these words, Srila Prabhupada has, given this a word as, it says, no, seminal something. They're just seminal sons, means just born. But, different, like, we get the true meaning that a Brahmana, we hear from Bhagavad Gita, right? Even a Chandala can come up to the level of a Vaishnava, Brahmana Vaishnava, provided he takes up bhakti. So that's why, Lord Chaitanya spread this all over the world, And the other day, I was also reading from actually the 7th canto, in which Lord Chaitanya has mentioned how, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, sorry, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned how some parts of Krishna consciousness was growing so strong in many parts of the world, like Turkey and so many other places. So that's why this was actually meant to go to the whole world. It's not only confined to India, so to say. So I was just thinking that, correlating that to the class today, what I was reading from, like not the 7th canto. I was reading actually the 2nd canto, not 7th, the canto 2, chapter 4, and text 18 or 17. It mentions how, it went to different parts of the world. Turkey and different places. Some of them, even the Vedic culture originated there. So that was very nice. So Mataji, one question was coming to my mind is, One is about this thing, it got more affirmed in our mind through Bhagvatam today, that, a Brahmana's son is not going to be a Brahmana, just because he's born,
Need not be. Need
yeah,
not.
because, they, some of the Brahmanical families, they'll say, oh, we are Brahmanas, and then they're not following anything, basically,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mataji, you mentioned in your class that it is very important to be truthful, right? And that is one of the qualities of a Vaishnava. So one time,
Brahmana.
Vaishnava, yeah, Brahmanical quality, in the true sense of Vaishnavas, right? So, but you mentioned one thing, that one should be truthful. Like, so one time, Krishna himself told Yudhishthira Maharaj to lie,
Yeah.
right? And then Yudhishthira Maharaj was a person who could never lie. He was true Vaishnava. So what happened is he kind of lost it there, because I just wanted to know that in what context Krishna was telling. Because see, with Krishna, if he says something, everything is possible. If he tells to lie, then we have to lie. But the point is that because he is, like a tricky Lord. So why Krishna was telling Yudhishthira Maharaj to lie? In what context? What was going on? That and although Yudhishthira Maharaj didn't fulfill the desire, so if you can, we can go back to that. When Krishna is telling to lie and he didn't lie. I just wanted to know a little bit. I'm sorry to go back to. But with the lies, I thought it's connected to this Yudhishthira Maharaj's, saying. If you can explain that, Mataji.
Okay. Yeah. So Krishna can never speak untruth. Okay. Whatever he says is the perfect truth, because he was speaking on the platform of higher truth. These people, Dronacharya, he was supporting Duryodhana, who's a complete untruthful person, a manipulator, and who had a sinful person. So such a person has to be finished off, because otherwise he'll just spoil. He's no use being there. He's not going to uphold Vedic values, truth. And that is why, in order to finish him off, you can say something, because that whole army was doing many cheating things. So that is why when Krishna can decide, we cannot say like that, oh, Krishna told us to tell lies, so we can also tell lies and do that. Krishna can do it because he knew at what time, so um, he was, he's talking on the platform of highest truth, which is surrendering to the Supreme Lord and having absolute values. So naturally, the Pandavas were like that, and he wanted to protect them. So, for the sake of establishing that truth, this minor thing is nothing. So, that is why Krishna told him to say that, so that the Dronacharya, that's the only way he could defeat him. Otherwise, he was very good in fighting, very strong. But the only thing that could disturb him was Ashwatthama. If he died, means that he would feel disturbed. And because Yudhishthir Maharaj, he didn't have. Actually, okay, he was very Brahminical in the sense that he was very truthful and honest, but he didn't consider that higher than this is what Krishna is saying. He is the supreme truth. What truth can be higher than Krishna? That is the realization one must have, that Krishna is the supreme truth. Whatever we consider truth is only him. Whatever Krishna says is the absolute truth. And so he should have completely gone by what Krishna said. Even though at that time he may not have understood, why is Krishna asking me to tell? When Krishna says speak this, you should just do, because he is the absolute truth. And to realize him is the purpose of our life. Is all other truths are based on that absolute truth. Everything is to achieve him. And so, if by killing Dronacharya, he also will be blessed, because for all his sins he's absolved of all that, because he was killed in front of Krishna and all that, and society will be benefited, because the Pandavas will be ruling and everyone will benefit. So if one must have that kind of faith in Krishna. And so Yudhishthir Maharaj had to go to hell for a few little while, very short while, because of doubting Krishna. How can what Krishna says be lie? Do we know what is truth and lie more than Krishna? Whatever Krishna will have a purpose behind it. So that is the reason he told him. And because Yudhishthir Maharaj was like this, so Krishna killed one elephant named Ashwatthama. And then told him, okay, say loudly. So Yudhishthir Maharaj said, Ashwatthama, the elephant, is dead. So Dronacharya only heard Ashwatthama is dead. And then he felt so, and that too coming from Yudhishthira, he thought it must be true. And so he became very morose and he could be defeated. So that was for a higher cause, to establish truth in society, moral values. He wanted Pandavas to win for that sake.
So excuse me, Mataji, so Yudhishthir Maharaj did say it then that Ashwatthama mara gaya, or he didn't say it?
He said, that's what, Ashwatthama, the elephant, is dead. He said that. So the elephant, he felt, he convinced himself, I didn't speak any untruth. He didn't have that complete faith in Krishna, that even if he said Ashwatthama is dead, he is not dead, but Krishna is saying that is the absolute truth. Afterwards, you can ask Krishna.
Then why did he go to hell then?
Because he doubted Krishna.
Oh, he said it, but he doubted. Right.
No, for his sake, Krishna had to kill an elephant, Ashwatthama, and all this. So he didn't have complete faith in Krishna. So for that sake, he had to go to hell. That is the highest truth.
Correct. So, Mataji, which of the Pandavas did not go to hell?
None of the others went.
Oh.
They all died, one by one, they left their bodies, as they were climbing the Himalayas. First Draupadi, then I think Nakul, Sahadev, Bhima, Arjuna, everyone one by one. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj was there. And the dog was also coming with him. And then after that, so Yudhishthir Maharaj went to hell. And all the Pandavas, they thought that, if Yudhishthir Maharaj has gone to hell, we will also follow him. So they went there and then they all went to the heavenly planets together.
Yes, that's right. I heard that they went to hell. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. And I was thinking that in spite of Yudhishthir Maharaj was like a epitome of telling truth, then like in the sense that, but at the same time, he had qualities of Prahlad Maharaj, because how Prahlad Maharaj in the previous verses is saying that there's no enemy and friend. So in spite of the fact that Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana was so inimical and they were fighting for, everything, still after Yudhishthir Maharaj won, he gave them place in his kingdom. He completely forgave. And so some qualities definitely, like what we understand from this is that, correct me, Mataji, if I'm wrong, like most of the devotees will have like super qualities, but there will be something which, like he didn't speak, he didn't have, like, for example, he didn't follow instructions, I would say, right? We have to follow instructions. We learn from this. We have to follow instructions of our Shiksha Guru, our, whoever we associate with. If we don't follow, then we are on our own. But if we follow, we'll benefit, because, they're truly in the path of bhakti. So just, like that insight I'm getting from your answer, very important to follow instructions.
Ultimately, we are serving Krishna. We are trying to please him, not our own morality. See, even what we are preaching and showing compassion to people, we have to do it as Krishna's messenger. We have to surrender to him, because he is the one who knows best how to help people. So we are only acting as Prabhupada said, I'm just a postman. I'm just bringing message of Krishna. So whatever we have to do it in the parampara, whatever Krishna wants, Guru wants, and whoever is in line with that. So it is not for our satisfaction even.
Yes, Mataji. And, thank you so much, Mataji, for the wonderful class. And this Srimad Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavat Seva, they say, right? It is so essential because, just hearing that, a Brahmana son will become Brahmana, you'll forget it. But this whole thing through the episode of Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us that, they were like, wo Hindi mein they say na, jiska namak khaya hai. Person. And also, Mataji, one more thing, like, in the Kurukshetra war, right? So there was certain people, now I'm not very good with names, like even Dronacharya and all these people who were actually very, very pious and good, but they took the side of the Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, the Kauravas, right?